Give me a little intro there, Gomer.
There's no turning back now.
Let's put on the show.
You're listening to the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co-hosts,
Beth,
Brian,
and Kirsten.
So this week we're going to be talking about some romantic ideas for a Disney World vacation. First up, let's dive into the news a little bit and see some new stuff that's going on around Walt Disney World. First up, we have some changes coming to the Slinky dog coaster as the train cars' tails were removed due to safety concerns.
Mm-hmm. So this is coming after some other issues that have arisen from the coaster train. The little spring sections that go over the cars have had some sort of damage, and they've been covered up with a little like canvas cloth thing over it. But yeah, now the tails have been removed. I guess people complained that it sounded like it was creaking from the back, and I don't know if they were worried about them coming unattached or whatever, but either way, the tails are gone, and the coaster looks kind of ridiculous from behind now.
It's kind of funny because it's like, just looking at the pictures, the tails look like they were always supposed to like come off at some point if they needed them to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't look like it was problematic for them to remove that.
Yeah. So now there's just this like big nub on the back of the Slinky dog, very clearly where the tail mounts.
yeah, I don't really understand why they would include a tail that wasn't sound, you know?
Yeah, you think they would have had any kind of issues like that worked out with testing.
I mean, y'all have heard of the Yeti, right?
Okay, good point.
That's true.
That's what I think. This is a low-level Yeti.
If I had to guess, I'm imagining that there are going to be some new ones made that aren't flexible, that don't actually, move back and forth like a spring. There's just going to be a solid mounted one. So either way, they need to get something back on there because this looks really, really goofy.
Mm-hmm.
That's annoying, though. The tail's like the cutest part.
It really is.
Yeah, now it's like literally like a button.
There's also like a linked news article in here. I don't know if you looked at that. Apparently, Toy Story Land has had a lot of problems since opening, and I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I guess I've only gone the one time. But yeah, when I was reading this article, they mentioned a lot about that. It's kind of surprising how, kind of in this day and age, you think they'd have all these minor issues taken care of, or at least have quick solutions to them, but it doesn't really seem to be the case.
Oh, man. I'm reading through these now, and it looks like, just for anyone that doesn't have this article pulled up, it says uneasy fences, poorly executed restrooms, slow food service, and... Oh, no, that's it. That's all that's there. But, like, a lot of those seem unavoidable until you scroll down and actually read them, and, yeah, no, they're bad.
Yeah, I mean, the fences, like, come on, Disney. You've been in the game a long time. You should have fence technology down
Right.
pretty well by this point.
Did you see the restroom part of that?
No, what exactly was wrong with the restrooms?
Apparently, all of the men's urinals are built at child height.
What?
Ah.
How do you make that mistake?
Yeah, they must have had some real noobs working on this
For
land.
real. I just looked at the pictures of the urinals. That's kind of funny.
It's so bad.
I like how there's a different color divider in between all of them.
I mean, I'm thinking that it's probably stereotypically most construction workers are men. Don't you think they would notice?
You would
That's
think.
a good point, yeah.
The sentence, custodial cast members can be found in here constantly mopping the floor.
Ew.
Oh, that's horrible.
You know, they went the opposite way. If they were really going to fit in the theme of the Toy Story Land, they should be like really, really tall and way bigger than normal, right?
Oh, boy.
Man.
So, another update that we got is that some of the lightning portraits in the Haunted Mansion got an update to make them a little bit more vibrant, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. When I first read the headline, I read that the portraits were changing, and I was like, "What?" But then I saw that it was just upgraded, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I had the same like mild shock when I first read it, and then after reading the article, obviously, like, yeah, this is a pretty good change. As usual, like, I think Disney knows that any changes to the Haunted Mansion need to be very subtle and more of an update rather than an overhaul. And I'm all for this. I think it looks really good. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just kind of continues the same idea as the original Imagineers had, and just, you know, with updated technology, makes it look a little bit better.
I think it's really one of the, like, was it original? When was the Haunted Mansion built at the land?
It was not an original ride.
I guess it feels like one of the older ones that's really remained popular. You know, like a lot of the originals and like the classics have kind of fallen by the wayside, like Tiki Room and Carousel of Progress. But Haunted Mansion still has like this huge following. That and Pirates, I guess.
You know, I would say that it probably has to do with the length of the rides. That, you know, because Haunted Mansion and Pirates are so much shorter than Tiki Room and Carousel of Progress. People see, like, oh, this is 20 minutes? I could do a bunch of stuff in 20 minutes.
That's a good point.
It probably also has to do with, like, the rate at which you're moving, too. I know that probably lumps in with the length of the ride, but, like, Haunted Mansion and Pirates are significantly faster than Carousel of Progress, and Tiki Room doesn't move at all.
Yeah.
And Jungle Cruise, I guess, is another one. But I feel like Jungle Cruise is really more of like a cult thing than a overwhelmingly popular thing, honestly.
Yeah, it's got kind of like a mid-level following.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like if you don't know anything about Disney World and you just go on a trip and you get on Jungle Cruise, you're going to be like, this is not funny.
Yeah.
Unless you like puns, like you should.
So last up, we have a new character edition coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom in February. Looks like Kevin from Disney Pixar's Up is going to be meeting and greeting in the parks come February 2019.
I am super into this if they do it a la Lucky the Dinosaur.
That would be interesting, but I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't understand how they are going to do it and it not look weird and creepy, though.
There's a picture of it in the actual article, and it looks like Kevin. I mean, I don't know how else it would be.
But it's only from the, like, neck.
That's fair.
So I want to know what the body looks like. I'm intrigued to find out.
But I do think that would be very cool if they had it as more of a walk-around character.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they can't, because, I mean, Lucky was in, like, what, 2005 or something? Like, you guys could have pulled it together by now, right?
Should I know who Lucky the Dinosaur is?
It was this, like, free-roaming, and like, animatronic kind of puppet dinosaur that walked around Animal Kingdom.
He was part of the like living character initiative that they did, which was like Push, the Muppets Mobile Lab, all of those things.
So you're saying you want him to be an animatronic, not somebody in a costume?
Yes.
Okay. That makes sense. Surely they could do that.
Yeah, and thinking about it now, it would look very weird if it was like someone in a puppet costume.
Right. Which is why I was like, how are they going to do the body if it's a person?
Well, have y'all ever seen the like cutaway to how Big Bird works?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it would be like that.
Probably, yeah.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know this.
Oh, it's basically the puppeteer or whatever you want to call the person in the Big Bird suit. Like, they're using their hand to control the mouth. So the guy's literally like left arm is actually in the arm, and then right arm is like up, like sticking straight above his head, like working the mouth and stuff.
And Big
So-
Bird's
So his-
right arm is like attached to him so that it doesn't move as much.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy has to have his arm in the air the whole time?
Exactly.
Now I need you to find this and send it to me, because all I'm finding are like Halloween costumes that are really, really small for women.
I'm sure I can find one.
Yeah.
Okay, I just found a great diagram. How Muppets work.
Oh, here we go. Just type in how Big Bird works into Google, and the first thing that pops up is a diagram showing it.
I've never noticed that. Okay, one, I appreciate that Big Bird is left-handed. 2, I've never noticed that his right hand doesn't move at all.
Me either. Huh.
Now I need to
Now
go
you
watch
know.
some Sesame Street for science.
Yeah.
Okay, so this week we're going to be talking a little bit about some ideas that could spark some romance at Walt Disney World. This was suggested to us by one of our listeners, Jillian. So thank you, Jillian, for the topic suggestion. Yeah, so let's just dive into this list. I know we have this split up in a couple categories, but we may kind of just end up all over the board here. So let's just start at the top and work our way down.
Okay, well, I'll start with my first one, which when I was telling my wife beforehand about this, I was immediately shut down because I said putt-putt was a romantic activity for 2, and apparently I was incorrect on that.
I think it's a good date.
Thank you. It is.
It's fun, it's competitive, and it's not like you take yourself seriously.
Yeah, like it. I agree. I have a lot of fun doing it, and I don't know. Maybe I like me and my wife have been together so long. Maybe it's kind of like I feel like the quirky things like that are like romantic. Maybe
I feel like it's more like a casual, fun date rather than like a hey, we're going to go to Cali Grill and I might propose. You know, like
that's a good way to put it.
less
You mean
pressure.
you can't propose at putt-putt?
I think
I mean,
just
you
cringed a
can,
little.
but they might say no.
This is true.
So for a more, I guess, mainstream romantic idea I had, from Fort Wilderness, you can rent boats for $45, and I said you can take them out and view the fireworks.
And going off of this, there are also some other boat options because you can do the fireworks cruise. Which, can you do that for at Magic Kingdom and at Epcot, or is it only an Epcot thing now?
I believe you can do it at both.
And then if you really want to like spend a lot of money, then you can rent the yacht and watch fireworks from that. So there's some different boat options.
Have either of you, or has anybody on this show done any of those? I've thought about it, but that's really expensive.
I haven't rented one of those boats. I have done the little, I don't know what you call them, the little like jet boats a long time ago. But I guess that's something completely different.
They don't do that anymore, right?
No, it's still available.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's actually cheaper too. It's 32 an hour, or sorry, 32 per half hour. So
We should probably also note that with these like fireworks cruises and the pontoon boats, you can like upgrade and change your package too. So you could actually have like dinner on the boat, if I remember correctly. But it's more expensive, of course.
I'm wondering why don't I ever see people in boats?
Oh, you don't? I do. Well, staying at Fort Wilderness and taking like the ferry boat to Magic Kingdom, I see them all the time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I guess they stay more over in that area.
Yeah, I mean, you rent them per half hour, so I would think a lot of people, maybe if they only get like a half hour or an hour, they kind of want to see stuff around and not, wind up back later and get charged another $50. So
That's true.
That's on my Disney bucket list of things to do, but I don't think I'm going to cross that off anytime soon.
Didn't you used to be able to do, like, jet skis?
I think so.
Maybe that's what I was thinking when I asked when did they stop doing that. I don't know.
Used to could ski. You can't do that.
Man, that was way back in the day.
You could ski?
Like when it first started, but it never worked right because of, I don't know, some reason. I'll have to look it up.
Wait, where?
On Seven Seas Lagoon.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That's what I meant. Water ski, not jet ski.
Okay.
Very different.
Yeah, my bad. Totally blanked there. Now it makes sense.
And I think they tried surfing. I think surfing is what didn't work because of the somewhat whatever device they had to make waves. I don't think there was like enough room between the wave maker and the shore or something. I read about it in a book. We should come back to that at some.
I remember seeing a video about that, so I think you're right.
I don't think water skis would be very romantic though, because it's like really hard. Or at least it was for me.
I feel that way about regular skiing. Like, that's considered a romantic activity, but I don't... That's too hard for me.
I'm also terrible at regular skiing.
Yeah.
Anything that involves skis, count me out.
Well, I mean, water skiing, I'm also thinking about the alligators and the snakes.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I don't get in fresh water in Florida.
And the brain-eating amoeba. Dun, dun, dun.
So kind of tied to the fireworks cruises, I put watching the fireworks from the Poly Beach, or
That's a good one.
really anywhere that you can see the fireworks that's not at the park. It's going to be less crowded. I don't know how it is with like Happily Ever After, because that relies a lot more on the projection mapping, and I feel like that's probably not as easy to see from there as like Wishes was. That loud sigh.
It's true. I don't think, you get as good of a show from it being so far away, but I still think it's worthwhile to do.
You also don't get as good of a show because it's not Wishes.
But
I agree that is a good place to watch it from. And especially, they still have the hammocks, right? Because I remember when Will and I went on our senior trip in high school, man, we're old. We did that one night. We like got in a hammock at Poly and like could hear the fireworks and watch them and stuff.
Aw, that's nice. Do you know what's even more romantic than watching the fireworks from the Poly Beach?
Oh no.
Watching the fireworks from your private hot tub in the bungalows.
Yeah, that would be nice.
If you want to dish out $2,000 a night.
The price of those bungalows is disgusting.
Yes,
I literally want to stay in one so bad I would kill a person.
But somebody did the math on like how much it costs per minute, and it's like kind of like for the time you're actually in the room, and it's kind of ridiculous. But I mean, all I should do is like have a drink, and I'll probably, reserve myself a night there.
You know what? I'll go with you. If I was renting one of those, trust and believe that would not be a park day.
Yeah, you just got to soak it in.
Yes, exactly.
I've heard like not great things about them too. Like I've heard that the boats pass by and you can hear them from the bungalow, and like it's just.
Well, no matter how fancy they make the inside, like it's still an overwater bungalow on a swamp in Florida. Like you're not in Fiji. Like you're just not.
Yeah, there's no other way to swing that.
Anyway, what's next? Oh,
Beth.
Brian's dream activity.
Ugh.
Oh, yeah. So I thought it would be romantic for some people who are not afraid of heights, I guess, to get in the hot air balloon at Disney Springs, which apparently goes 400 feet in the air.
Oh, I don't like freestanding heights. This is like also my nightmare.
You know what I can't stand is being on the ground and seeing how much this thing moves. Like,
Yeah.
with that little thing.
It moves less than a free, like, floating hot air balloon.
I know, but like something just when it's really windy and you see it like at an angle.
I think it would be nice. Beth and I can go together.
Yes. We can have a romantic hot air balloon date. You know, it gives me, like, peace of mind that I've never heard of anyone dying on this thing.
And
but
you just jinxed it.
People die on Space Mountain all the time, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, no one's calling Space Mountain romantic.
Well, true, but...
Is that what makes it romantic? Is like the fear of death?
Yeah. It makes you want to, like, hold your loved ones, like, near and dear.
I would be like in the middle of that platform in the fetal position, just like rocking back and forth if someone ever tricked me into going on that thing.
Oh my god. That would be so sad if you tricked someone into going on there. That's bad karma.
I think that would be hilarious.
Get some clicks on YouTube.
Oh my god.
Check out the Station 71 YouTube in the future when we trick Brian into getting on the hot air balloon.
Yeah, whenever we get around to doing this Station 71 meetup, I'm not coming to it because I'm going to remember this.
So here's what we have to do. We have to blindfold him and tell him we're going somewhere exciting.
I swear to God, I will quit the podcast.
Well, now he's never...
Pretend you're in Bird Box.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. So let's move on from there.
This is a really, truly romantic episode we're having here, guys.
Talking about tricking your loved ones into going in a hot air balloon.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you can tell that we've all been with our significant others for a long time. You know it's real when you can't be serious about romance.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's the most romantic thing of all, is being comfortable with someone.
Real
True
talk.
that.
So the next one that I had on the list, which I guess I'm surprised that no one else had, was schedule something with Disney Floral and Gifts. Disney does a lot of in-room celebrations, so you can do things like ordering like flowers to be sent to your room. You can have like champagne and things sent up there, or even like just a little custom gift basket if you wanted to do something for like someone's birthday. They have a lot of options. There's also like a custom gift builder if you wanted to build your own package. But I always think these things look nice. They're also a little pricey for some of the stuff.
A little.
And I think going along those lines, we've talked about the cake hotline before, but if you have a dinner reservation at a nice place, order a fancy cake from the cake hotline. They can literally do like anything you could ever imagine. Yeah. I don't know. It's way too complicated to talk about.
We have a whole episode about that.
Yeah, there's like a lot about it. So, cake hotline.
I'm looking at the Wish Come True package, and apparently it comes with a bottle of, quote, Wishes sparkling juice. I'm
That's
very
right up my
intrigued.
alley.
Hey, that's perfect for you, Kirsten, because it's sparkling juice.
Yep. That is what I prefer.
Some of these things on here, though, like I've looked at them, and I kind of want to know how they price them, because there's stuff on here where it's like, it's a little thing, and then it's like very expensive, and then there's like a thing with a bunch of stuff in it, and it's really cheap. I mean,
I
in
don't
comparison.
know. I was like, at this the Wish Come True when I was looking at, I was like, is it literally just a bottle of sparkling juice and a dozen roses for $375? But apparently it comes with an exclusively designed glass slipper featuring a specialty charm, a special poem, and 2 champagne flutes and chocolates. So that makes it worth the $375 apparently.
The shoe is probably what
That's, yeah,
is the most expensive.
for sure.
You want to hear the most ridiculous one on here?
Oh no.
The Disney Tales Minnie Mouse package. Like, it's for your dog. According to the... Well, hang on now. I agree, it's very cute, but according to the description, your furry friend will think hot diggity dog when they discover the basket of doggy goodies. It looks like they got a bunch of doggy treats, some little doggy ears, a collar. I actually have this collar for my dog, and a bunch of dog stuff. It's $175.
Oh, wow.
You must love your dog a lot if you get that delivered to the room. Plus, you're paying like $75 a night for them to even be there.
Plus, it's like $25 to deliver it, so that's pretty crazy.
So a lot of the things on our list cost a lot of money, just so that's clear.
Hey, putt-putt's cheap. I want to throw that back out there.
That's true.
And that's why it was vetoed from your list.
But our next few ones are also pretty affordable.
Yeah, and there's some of them, like, I mean, taking a walk on the boardwalk, which was my next one, and also watching the fireworks from the Poly are free. Like, you don't have to pay for them. So that's pretty, that's pretty good if you're not looking to really spend money and just want to be somewhere with some atmosphere.
And now you can go to Ample Hills, get ice cream, and then walk on the boardwalk.
Yeah. And there's lots of things to do on the boardwalk. I know we've talked about this as, like, kind of an overlooked gem, but the boardwalk is great.
Yeah. I love walking around there.
Yeah, me too. Oh my God. One of these, hey, on the Disney for All and Gifts occasions, you can do romance, and one you get a tiara.
Are you trying to drop hints, Kirsten?
Well, I don't think that the tiara, one, would be something I could actually wear out in public, or two, would be real. So, unfortunately, no, but I'm just saying.
I bet it's real expensive.
$175.
Oh, jeez.
They're nice. And, like, I've gotten a package from here before. Someone shipped something to we've had two now, shipped to our rooms with these. And they come out nice. I actually still use... one of them came in like a lunchbox and it had a bunch of snacks in it, and I still use that for like work every day.
Nice.
There legit is just a vase of flowers that cost $125. Roses, stargazer lilies, carnations, and irises.
I guess I'm being vetoed on this one.
No, I mean, I think it's a good idea.
Oh yeah, I would love to walk into the room and find this, but I would also love to spend that $125 on something else.
That's a park ticket.
That's true. That's a bunch of drinks at Epcot.
This is something I've never done, but I've looked at. The horse-drawn carriage rides at the resorts.
I think that is possibly the most romantic thing on here.
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know. But this looks like it would be fun. I also feel like I've never been in a place to, like, block out a time to just, like, want to do something like this, because I feel like every time I've been there in the last couple of years, it's always been, like, do this, like, very run around and not regimented, but, like, I've known what I've wanted to do and never had, like, a free 2 hours to block out for something like that.
Yeah, I think you would probably get the most use out of it if you were just having, like, a resort day and you decided to do that at night or something.
I've actually never done any horse-drawn carriage rides anywhere because I, like, always worry about how the people treat their horses, because I know in some places they're not treated very well. But I feel like Disney World would probably be a place where you could be comfortable, like, knowing that the animal was treated humanely. So I feel like that would be a place to do it, or at least you could ask and, like, they would give you an answer, you would get an honest answer of, like, what happens to these animals. But that's just, I'm, like, weird. So
if you go to Fort Wilderness, you can actually see where they keep a lot of the horses. I'm not sure if it's the same ones that pull the carriages, but they have horses at Fort Wilderness, and and they have, like, I guess blacksmiths out there, like, shoeing them and everything. It's pretty cool to watch, and again, you can talk to them and ask them questions about the horses. It's pretty cool. I just looked up pricing. It says it's $55 for a 25-minute ride, which isn't bad because it says that's for the carriage. So if you're with your significant other, or if you have a family, it's the same price. So I feel like, especially if you had a family, really for 4 or more people to ride for 25 minutes for $55, that's really not a bad price.
Now the holiday sleigh rides, which I'm sure that ship has sailed for the year, but apparently are $84
Whew.
because it's a sleigh and it's decorated with lights and garland.
If they could put me on like snow to do a real sleigh ride, then I'd be impressed.
Yeah. So up next, I put bike riding specifically in Port Orleans because we did that and it was super fun, and you can ride the bikes along the waterway and it's really pretty.
Oh, that's a good one.
And it's pretty cheap too. I think it was like, I don't know, $16 an hour or something.
Nice. That's,
So,
I mean,
yeah.
like, as far as, that might be one of the cheaper things on here, and I think that's a really good one.
Yeah, especially because we were staying there and it was really nice because we rented them and rode them to the pool at French Quarter. And then we swam for a while and had some drinks, and then we rode them back, and it was, like I said, pretty affordable and really fun and a nice way to get from here to there.
Nice. I've never done it at Port Orleans. I've done it at Fort Wilderness, but I definitely need to block out time to do it at Port Orleans next time I'm there.
Yeah, it was super fun. And they give you a lock, too, so you don't have to worry about people stealing it.
That also makes me think that this isn't like a thing that costs anything, but I like the boat ride from Port Orleans to Disney Springs. That could be a romantic little idea for transportation.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do they use the same boats as they do for if you go from, like, Epcot to Hollywood Studios?
I think they're smaller.
Yeah, they're smaller, and I don't know, it looks like it's close, but it's not exactly the same.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I haven't taken the boats from Epcot to Hollywood Studios in a long time, but I think the one that runs from Port Orleans to Disney Springs only seats like maybe 20 people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So our next category after this was romantic restaurants.
So the first one that popped into my head, which I think pops into a lot of people's nowadays, is Be Our Guest.
Yeah.
I think it has that, the atmosphere. You're in a castle, like straight out of the movie, especially if you get in the hot ticket seat next to the rose and everything. It's, I think, pretty romantic.
Who put sci-fi?
That was also me.
Questioning your judgment there.
I think it's romantic. It's like
If you like terrible food.
I think that, all right, it's definitely not like high-end food even for Disney standards, but I think it's a fun experience. It's like going to a drive-in movie back in the day. It's like simulating a 50s date.
No.
It's fun for a couple that is established, maybe not like a first date.
If I took Will there, he would leave me. That's literally like his least favorite restaurant. Like he refuses to go back, like flat out refuses, will not even consider it.
Really?
Yes.
I have to say, we have a drive-in movie theater around here, and this is nothing like a drive-in movie.
The only drive-in movie I've ever been to was a Halloween showing of Rocky Horror, and I would say that was not very romantic.
That doesn't sound very romantic.
I don't know if you guys have ever done that. I would highly recommend it. It's just not very romantic. But, Rocky Horror has like a huge cult following. So people bring props and like yell certain things at certain parts of the movie. It's like a big group thing. I don't know. It was my first time and I loved it and I've been wanting to do it again, but not romantic. So back to the point.
my first anniversary is coming up. Are you telling me that I should probably cancel the putt-putt and sci-fi dine-in reservations that I've made for that?
Yes.
Oh, boy. I want to circle back though real quick because we kind of glossed over Be Our Guest. I think that it has romantic atmosphere, but there are definitely some things to be warned about if you want, like, I guess a more intimate atmosphere. This is not it. Because the ballroom has a lot of tables and they are in close proximity, and if you do get that hot ticket seat, like Brian said, near the rows, people are going to be coming and taking pictures near your table pretty much your entire dinner reservation.
Yeah.
So just be warned about that.
I definitely agree with that. I think I'll say for in a park, it's one of the more romantic places. Definitely better options, resort hopping, Disney Springs for sure. And
yeah, especially in Magic Kingdom, because there's really not that much. I would say if you think that Cinderella's Royal Table is going to be romantic and you're trying to decide between this and Be Our Guest, go with Be Our Guest 100%.
Yeah, I've never done Cinderella's Royal Table, but I feel like I still agree.
Don't. It's a waste of your money.
It's been so long since I did it.
I want to do it because it's like I said earlier, it's like a thing that you're supposed to do as a Disney fan, but I just haven't ever been able to justify the price because my boyfriend is kind of a picky eater and I'm a vegetarian, and $60 a person, whatever.
Yeah, not worth it.
Have you guys ever done Be Our Guest at dinner?
Yes.
So is it still super duper crowded?
Yes.
Yes.
And I was that person who went up and took a picture by the rows. Sorry, whoever's table I was by.
Oh, I did it too. So I would say don't feel bad.
So do they? I've only done it for lunch. I've done it a couple times for lunch. I've never done it for dinner. It's a table service at dinner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
you sit down and you order at the table.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that would be the most romantic of the options then, because, going and standing at a kiosk and telling a cast member what you want to eat, and then going and getting your drink from the soda fountain doesn't sound super romantic, but I can see it for dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there at dinner, but it's weird for me to think, like, how much, like, the entire restaurant changes between lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
I will also say that if you do get lucky, I guess, depending on if this is your idea of luck, the Beast meets during dinner, so that's kind of cool, but I also don't think character dining is romantic.
No. Not in the slightest. Like, I would have put Artist Point on this list, except for now it's character dining, so...
That was so heartbreaking to think about.
And
Like,
it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Why Bob Iger?
That's exactly how I feel on that one. So my next one on here, because I had the next three, I put Victoria and Albert's, even though none of us have ever actually eaten there. So this is just a stab in the dark. I would assume that this is romantic because it's very expensive.
Better be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Portobello in Disney Springs, but that's not Portobello anymore, so I don't know if it's actually, like, the food is good. The atmosphere is nice because it's right on the lake, and if you can get a seat outside, especially at nighttime, it's really nice. I also like the atmosphere in San Angel too. That's not entirely for everyone, so
Definitely has a good atmosphere. Not a huge fan of the food.
yeah, that's pretty much where I land on that one. If you like mediocre Mexican food, this is pretty good.
Sign me up.
I know, we're really selling this.
We've got some glowing recommendations here.
You know, what you need to do is just go to the little San Angel Cantina across the way from the pyramid, grab that food, and just go grab a seat and sit down, and then it's like, boom.
Or
Okay.
if you drink, like, a bunch of tequila shots, then go eat dinner, you're going to think it's great.
There you go.
Well, you've also got La Cava right there, so it's not hard to do. But I will never understand how San Angel Canteen is better than San Angel Inn, and they're like literally 2 feet apart from each other.
I don't get it. Just sell the same food. It's that simple.
They haven't thought of that yet. I put Citricos. It's more accessible, I feel, than Victoria and Albert's, and it's still, you can dress up as much as you want, and you're not going to be out of place unless you have like a tux on. That's weird. Don't do that. And there's not really a ton of children. I was the person who took my 8-month-old, but he was asleep, so it was fine. Didn't really have a choice. But typically, it has like a nice view, the atmosphere, everything. I think as far as accessible restaurants, it's probably the best one because I think it's easier to get a reservation there than Cali Grill. It's just not as popular and not as well known because you don't have that firework, draw like Cali Grill does. And the food is also amazing. I would say it's pretty comparable, and I've almost even enjoyed my food there more at some points. And then Cali Grill, of course, is like the gold standard as far as fancy romantic restaurants. And also, you do not actually need a reservation for the bar area. So I think they open at like 5:30. And whenever we went, we had a reservation, but it was pretty early. I think our reservation was for like 6 or 6:15. But we went right when it opened at 5:30, and they sat us at one of the bar tables, and they do have a full menu there. So that is an option. If you can't get a reservation, if you want to, just eat a super early dinner and try to go get a table at the bar area and order off the main menu from there, it's a possibility.
That's a good suggestion. I wouldn't have thought about doing that.
Yeah, I'm sharing my secret tip with you, so nobody take advantage of it. Be nice.
It's interesting that you mentioned dressing up or dressing down, because when I was there on my most recent trip, I stopped by the Grand Floridian to look at the Christmas decorations and took a wrong turn and was walking towards Citricos and saw that they had a little dress code sign and was like, what? And I looked it up just now, just for anybody listening that's considering going, that it says men must wear khaki slacks or dress shorts and collared shirts. Jeans may be worn if in good condition. Sport coats are optional.
Well, let's
Women,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, women must wear capri pants, skirts, dresses, or dress shorts. Jeans may be worn if in good condition, but you cannot wear tank tops, flip-flops, swimsuits, swimsuit cover-ups, hats for gentlemen. Yeah, I guess you can wear one of those big floppy hats if you're a woman. Cutoffs, torn clothing, and T-shirts with offensive language or graphics.
Because I know at Victoria and Albert's, unless it's changed, it's even more strict. I know men have to wear a jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't pick this for after your pool day. This is legit fancy, gonna propose kind of thing.
I kind of feel like for the money, though, this should be more or less the highlight of that day. So, yeah, spend time getting dressed up for it.
Yeah. Also, apparently Cali Grill has the same dress code.
I feel like, well, first of all, I my biggest complaint with that resort is always that I feel out of place there.
Oh,
but,
definitely.
Yeah, we...
Help me, I'm poor.
Well, the last trip we were on, we did a monorail loop tour and just kind of got off at every resort and walked around, did some shopping, just kind of looked around and everything. We spent 5 minutes at the Grand Floridian and got off, used the restroom, and went back on the monorail. We didn't even look in the store or anything because it was just, there were people around in suits, and I think there was a wedding going on, so that didn't help. But, yeah. But I think in terms of, dress code, this isn't that bad either. It's just don't look like a slob, really.
Don't come straight from Magic Kingdom, basically. It's I feel like Disney has this unspoken rule where even at nice restaurants, people are dressed like crap because they're at a theme park and it's 105 degrees. But there are the few where you can't just, any of the ones in Epcot, Le Cellier, whatever. That's a nice restaurant. Anywhere else, you would probably wear something a little nicer than your tank top and flip-flops. But at Disney World, everybody looks like that, so it's not a big deal.
I kind of appreciate that because, like you said, it's more accessible. But
Yeah, especially with families, like it's takes too much time to go back to your room, especially if you're not staying like really close on property. I mean, it's an ordeal to go get ready for a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I'll just go ahead and add one of my other things to this, onto the Citricos thing is in the lobby at night. I don't remember the exact times, but the piano player plays music at the Grand Floridian, and I love, like, I could stay in the Grand Floridian lobby for the rest of my life, like, and be totally happy. I think it smells amazing. I think the atmosphere is amazing. I love listening to the piano player because he plays, like, Disney songs, and sometimes there'll be, like, you know, like, you see, like, a little girl with her dad, and she, like, wants him to dance with her, and it's, like, the cutest thing in the world. But, yeah, so that's also very romantic. So if you're going to go to a place like Citricos or Victoria and Albert's, you should go early so you can kind of enjoy that lobby atmosphere.
Just not when the gingerbread house is up.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it's a madhouse in there.
That was not an atmosphere. I mean, the gingerbread house was cool, but too many people.
there's also, I mean, I know Kirsten said the piano player, but there's also the orchestra in there too. So lots of music in the Grand Floridian. So I guess we can move on to the next category here.
That's my little makeshift category. If you guys want
quiet.
to.
Let's just go over this because this shows how not romantic we are on here. So the next category that was just added to our show notes was quiet and romantic spots to hang out at the parks. The two suggestions that are in there right now are Hollywood Studios is pretty quiet and Tom Sawyer Island with a winky face.
The winky face is throwing me off.
It depends on your definition of romantic. That's what the winky face is for.
I think after the last time we talked about Tom Sawyer Island and Brian said he found snakes in the cave, like that's
Okay, well, I didn't know about the snakes in the cave until that, so I guess that does kind of take a little bit of the quote-unquote romance
I
out
could
of it.
see, like, getting a nice quiet seat, like, on the rocking chairs with somebody. That could be romantic.
If you're 80.
Are they the same people that sit in the rocking chairs in Liberty Square too? Like,
Yeah. No, seriously, this is off topic, but we were talking about that Disney deaths thing. I had just thought earlier today or yesterday, I was like, I'm going to read about them because I don't know what brought it up. And one of the incidents at Animal Kingdom one time was a little kid was walking and a snake fell out of the tree and landed on him and bit him. Like, what? That's crazy. I never want to go back to Animal Kingdom ever.
I mean, but I bet it wasn't venomous and that kid got like an annual pass for life.
I know, but that's, I don't care. That is terrifying. I know you like the reptiles, but I am not about the reptiles. Like,
I mean, I like reptiles. I don't want to be bit by them, but if I could get a annual pass for life,
Beth is shoving her hand in the snake cages now.
I would get bit by a non-venomous snake.
I would never recover. Like, the whole point was that the family sued Disney because they said that it was so traumatic that the grandma had a heart attack 2 days later, which I think is BS, but still.
Yeah,
like,
2 days
I would have a
later.
heart attack right then if a snake fell on me and bit me.
Yeah, I could understand if the grandma had the heart attack like right there, but it's like, what, 2 days later, what, she like was thinking about it again and got worked up? Okay.
Y'all want to know where I've seen another snake on property?
Yes.
Typhoon Lagoon.
What?
Yeah.
In the water?
Not in the water. It was on one of. I mean, we were in line for.
No.
I think it was Crush and Gusher, and like
No.
it was going
You're
across the
giving
path.
Kirsten nightmares.
But like you know that there has to be some in the water every once in a
No,
while.
no. Oh.
All right, Kirsten, you just know where it's safe. You just can't go back.
This is terrifying.
It's Florida.
I was about to say, you know, the scary thing about Florida is that there are a lot of venomous snakes there. So, as much as I like reptiles and appreciate venomous snakes from afar, I don't want anything to do with one.
Oh, this is terrible. Now I'm gonna be like terrified next time I go.
On the lookout for you're on snake patrol the whole time.
Yes.
So do we want to move off of this category, or do we have some
I had
serious
one more.
suggestions?
I had one more, and I still maintain that Tom Sawyer Island is a good option if you're still young and full of life and want to have a romantic good time. But I digress. The hub grass is a nice place to sit. I know it's cliche, but just sitting there when there's like during the day and there's like not a lot of people sitting around you is nice, I think.
Watching people fight with their families.
Honestly, I love people watching so much. That sounds like a great date to me. Now we can move on, unless someone else has another quiet, romantic spot to hang out.
I'm trying to think of ones in the park.
They got rid of the rose garden, so
Yeah, there's not really like the problem with the parks is that there's nowhere that's like quiet. So it's really hard to say. Actually, I'm gonna throw this one out there: the walking trails in Animal Kingdom.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Also, during Flower and Garden, when in the UK pavilion at Epcot, they turn it into the tea garden.
That little spot is a nice place to go even outside of that time, but having that special event does definitely help.
And the butterfly pavilion.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
That's fun.
I guess a lot of World Showcase can really kind of qualify as some nice romantic places to walk around and hang out.
I think after it's closed, when it starts emptying out, all of World Showcase is really, because it's just like dark and there are lights, like walking up to the Canada, up the steps to the Canada area is really nice. And, if you just want to like walk super slow back to your, like to the bus stop, or if you're staying at an Epcot resort, it's perfect because you're kind of fighting the crowd. You just sit and wait till everybody leaves and you have it to yourself.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one on this podcast that does that. My favorite thing to do with Epcot at night is go to the very back as Illuminations is going off and either like try to make a dinner reservation super late so that the park's closing, or even if like extra magic hours are going on, like just hang back at the very, very back of World Showcase and then funnel out as the crowd is like rushing to the front to get on that first bus out of there. Just kind of hang back and like take in all of World Showcase as much as I can. That's
like the only time I ever can get my camera out and take halfway decent pictures, because since I'm not actually like a photographer.
You know what else is really great about World Showcase? The more I'm saying this, the more I'm realizing that World Showcase isn't half bad for like romance and stuff. But I like in the Japan Pavilion, back where like the big koi pond is.
Oh, yeah.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I love the koi pond.
I mean, I think a lot of the pavilions, just like if you really go to the backs of them, you get out of the hustle and bustle of the park, and they're normally really, really pretty areas.
But if you really want to go to the quietest place in Epcot, go to Colortopia. I literally have been to it once, and absolutely no one was there. It was literally me and like 4 other people.
So let's jump off of that and talk about some resort hopping, because I think this is, I know we've said this a lot, but it's super underrated, and it's definitely a great way to experience some of the deluxe resorts if you're not staying there, or even just see some of the nicer resorts in a different way.
And it's free.
Yes. Cannot beat free.
So 2 of my favorites are the fire pit outside at Animal Kingdom Lodge that overlooks the savannah. It's just a really cool place, I think, to sit down. I mean, obviously, especially at night when they have the fire going, but you can get up every once in a while and like go look at some of the animals out there too. So that one's good. And then I just think Port Orleans in general, I'm very biased. This is where I proposed. So, but I think the grounds are really, really pretty and just great to walk around at, especially at night.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think the atmosphere at the resort is super romantic in general.
I will 100% stand by the fact that we have called this the deluxe resort for a moderate price.
Definitely.
You gotta stop saying that, or they're gonna start charging deluxe price.
I mean, maybe then it'll convince my girlfriend to stay somewhere else, but I'm not going to complain because I do really love this resort. So I also had the Polynesian on here. I really like that resort. That's one that I eventually do want to stay at, but that hasn't come up yet. I think this is a super nice atmosphere. You have a lot of places to walk around that are going to be more intimate than I guess some of the other resorts would be, and you have that nice view of the fireworks as I mentioned previously.
Yeah, especially at night when they have like the tiki torches going and the band playing. It's really nice. And it's usually, at least in my experience, not crazy crowded, even on the patio.
And then, let's see, I put Boardwalk, which was already mentioned above, and listening to the piano player at the Grand, which I also already mentioned above. And then the last one I put was, Will and I actually stayed at Saratoga once, and there's a pathway from Saratoga Springs to Disney Springs. And I think it's probably, knowing me, it was the night we got there, and so it's like 11:15, and we're walking over to get a Ghirardelli milkshake. But it was nice because it was like pretty quiet by then, and it was on the path, dark and everything's lit up and like the water. So I would say that that's like a nice relaxing. And Saratoga's so empty anyway, and there's sidewalks, all over that place, and it's very large. So that's kind of just a nice place to walk around too.
Yeah, that's very true. I think one of the things that some of the deluxe resorts benefit from, especially like the DVC ones, is that they are larger, so there's a lot more room to walk around in. I know I've said that my biggest gripe with like Old Key West was that there was just so much empty space, and it felt like getting from one side of the resort to the other took an hour in itself. But if you're walking and you like the atmosphere, I think pretty much any of those bigger resorts would be good for just a romantic stroll. So yeah, we just went through our entire list. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on with these? Because I got nothing else. I'm not a romantic person by any means.
I think we've established that none of us are too romantic. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hopefully someone got some use out of this, and like, there's someone out there that appreciated it. But yeah, speaking of romantic, as someone put in the show notes, we got an email this week. I guess we can talk about. So we got an email from listener Nathan, who said, "Just discovered the podcast and I was immediately hooked. I've been catching up on old episodes at work and recently got back from a trip with my girlfriend. I have a question. Has anybody seen the infamous Epcot rats? We saw one. It was huge on our last night by Morocco. And I've seen pictures and tweets about Epcot rats and didn't know if you had any experiences with these infamous creatures. Keep up the amazing work." So, rats, romantic.
I had never heard of the Epcot rats until this
neither.
email, and now I'm extremely intrigued, and I'm going to go looking for the Epcot rats.
Well,
Yeah.
Epcot Rats is not a hashtag on Twitter. I just checked.
I started
well, it must
looking
not be
it
that
up.
big then.
It's there's a little bit on this, couple of pictures online. Yeah, these seem like some pretty large rats.
I would 100% rather see a rat than have a snake fall on me. Like 100%, anytime, anywhere, bring on the rats.
I wonder which one you'd be more likely to get a disease from.
Probably a rat, but
That sounds
Probably.
disgusting, first of all. We went from romance to diseases.
Full spectrum here.
Also, two things. One, I'm not surprised that Epcot would be the place to have rats. And second, I Googled Epcot rats, and the third thing that came up on here was 4 new rides for Disney World: Ratatouille, Tron, Mickey Mouse.
Somebody's banking on that Epcot rats SEO.
oh, I see one in a picture. Aw, poor little rat.
Okay, I'm not finding any pictures.
I found one. There's a tweet from WDW News Today, and it says, "We found some rats in Epcot. There were 2 in total. Never seen them at WDW before."
He
And that
just
was
looks
from last year.
scared.
Yeah, he's like hiding in a grate.
Oh, I see what you're talking about now. I like rats.
Me, I honestly, if I like get another pet anytime soon, I would love to get a pair of rats.
They're like
That's-
super sweet and super
And
smart and
smart.
actually like really clean.
Yes, and I want to teach them to jump rope with their tails like in Harry Potter.
Oh,
Well, good luck
boy.
with that.
But this is why they don't mind the feral cat so much. Have y'all ever seen a feral cat at Disney World?
No, but I
have
would
not.
love to.
Because they do have those too, and I'm guessing that that's why we don't see many rats, is because of the cats.
I heard that they were more a thing in Disneyland, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were in Disney World.
I've seen some cats.
Really?
Yes, not many, but a couple. At
I'd love to
Epcot.
see a cat. I
feel
just
like
see the
maybe-
lizards. But I love the lizards too, but
They always end up on our door handle every time, and I don't know why.
I like watching them in the little German train town, acting like Godzilla, like sitting on top of buildings.
You've mentioned that before, and I never thought to look for that.
Dude, you should, like, if it's nice weather, like, if it's cold, they're not going to be out, because we looked last time and they weren't, and I was really sad. I was like, maybe they've adapted to the cold. But, no, anytime that it's, like, a nice sunny day, check out the little train town and look for the lizards. They're really cute.
Nice. So, did you guys have anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap this week up?
Any other animals running around at the parks?
No.
Darn.
What were you going to say, Kirsten?
I was going to say, if y'all, as in listeners, have any ideas, y'all need to send them to us, because I feel like we need to spice up our podcast life.
Yeah, we need some romantic help here. This is Then that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of the Station 71 podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast from so you don't miss an episode. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find links to all of our social media on station71podcast.com, and you can send us a listener email to station71podcast@gmail.com. We hope you enjoyed your ride, and we'll see you real soon.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.